Everybody will get started in just a few minutes here. Put the notes in the chat. All right, we're 4 or 5 minutes past the hour here. We'll go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody. Meeting number 82 of the OpenCost Community Meeting Series. We'll go ahead and dive right into it. Community stuff, just sort of, a recurring ask here, I guess. Your discussion topic is, should we consider making a bot to post these meeting announcements to the OpenCost channel, just to, maybe help folks get some more advance notice. I don't know if we have permissions to do that. A community member might be looking into that, Tushar. So, maybe we could also have onboarding stuff for new contributors. So probably stay tuned there. I think he's working on it. Our next topic is, a maintainer nomination. So Christian Peterson here has been nominated to become a maintainer. He's been our release manager for, over a year now. And frankly, getting the maintainer status will help him do his job better so that we don't have to carve out so many exceptions for him. Obviously, being the release manager, you need write permissions on a lot of stuff. So being able to add him to the maintainers team would be awesome. Christian, I don't want to put you on the spot here. I don't know if I want to say a few words.
Yeah,
And then
just
we
to
can.
add to what Alex said about being the release manager, I was also involved in or was responsible for standing up the OpenCost demo and kind of maintaining that as well. So also been involved with that at OpenCost.
Great. Certainly not to understate your contributions here. Is anyone opposed? Either raise your hand or put a chat in. Okay, I think that is unanimous then. All in favor? Congratulations, Christian. Yeah, and that will make your life easier because you get write permissions to all of this stuff. So obviously it's pretty important for tagging and doing your duties. So amazing. Welcome. Cool. Any other community thoughts, questions, comments? Uh, oh, thanks, Joao. Let me add this. We'll check that out. Yeah, I think any resources there would be appreciated. Awesome. All right. We can move on then to the sort of more technical portion here. OpenCost Infra, no major updates there. We're trying to get an external cost OpenAI deployed. The plugin needs a little bit of maintenance, so we're working on that. We have just a mock workload, no real usage data, anything like that. So it's safe for the demo. Stay tuned for that. Christian may need some help there encrypting stuff and getting deployments all set. Moving on to integration tests. Right. So we still have these open tests, testing network costs. Again, this is more of a help wanted at this point, right? Like on italicize it, we can fake cross-regional traffic with IP ranges. That was Matt's idea. Separate iPerfs. We just want to exercise all the different metrics here because our network costs could definitely use more testing. Help wanted. It's a fun network costs configuration exercise. Um, right. We've had some flaky test issues recently. Um, and so I deployed or PR'd a potential fix here, which is, we just have issues where a lot of these tests are it queries Prometheus for the quote unquote ground truth, then it queries OpenCost API and compares. Sometimes there are discrepancies, right? Like Prometheus doesn't have certain pods. You know, the AI proposed this fix. I'm not yes, this does work, right? But the point of the tests was to see what like stuff was in Prometheus, but not in allocation. So skipping the result, I don't know. It doesn't, I need to think about it more. If anyone else wants to review this and weigh in, these again are our agent generation side metrics. So, would love input here. Again, it looks like Copilot had some stuff to say. I didn't actually look at this part. We need to validate what's happening here. Namespace aggregation, Prometheus pod and time. Yeah, so it's, you know, adding some briefly, yeah. So issues with short-lived pods and stuff like that. I don't know if these are symptomatic of larger issues or just flaky tests. Manos did look at it. And he had some good feedback here. So this is mostly on my plate. I just wanted to surface this if anyone wants to look at it, because currently our tests, I don't think are passing on OpenCost, which is yeah. So our tests aren't passing. Um, and again, it's these ones where it's a bunch of different ones. Uh, yeah, so this is probably some number mismatches. Needs to be looked at. We'll get to eventually. Yeah, but if anyone wants to review this and weigh in on it, definitely interested in thoughts here. Cool. We'll keep working on that. Exciting announcement this meeting. We've newly open sourced BinGen, which is OpenCost's lightweight data storage format. So it's great. We got permission from KubeCost leadership to do this. Lots of docs. Matt did a great job here getting this open sourced. Um, what it's missing is the CI. So again, this is sort of something I had opened up to add a bunch of our expected CI branches and stuff like this. Now, the nice thing about having open source BinGen now is we can have a CI job that validates the codex. So that, if someone updates a Golang struct without regenerating BinGen, like protobuf, we can do a BinGen generate, do a git diff, and if there are changes, then not allow that in. So that's sort of what that enables in the future. It enables community feedback, review, and use by other projects, right? Which is part of the goal here. So we're definitely excited about that. And, I think BinGen will see a little bit more work yet. It is a really like high performing data structure and it served us well. So maybe the community will get some use out of it. Yeah, so that'll be a new agenda item that we'll review each week. Moving on to OpenCost AI here. Work made a huge contribution here recently to get a lot of this stuff fleshed out. So again, this is our air-gapped AI, right? It uses OLLAMA, open source LLMs. Uh, the idea, of course, is that it, yes, provides you a chat interface for consuming your costs, but maybe could drive optimizations in the future. again, we need to look at the power of that. Like, is it useless on a laptop, or do you really need, a big GPU behind it? That needs experimentation. So thank you, Warwick, for that. And yeah, so our next step here is we'll test the models and find the smallest viable model that is useful here. All right, cool. Moving on to OpenCost UI. We've released 1.120.1, so thank you, Christian, for that. A couple bug fixes and enhancements. We're starting to get contributions to our new UI. So here is one. I think Vishy, he's our mentee this term. He did review this, so we can review it as a group now. Um, so this is adding drill down navigation and the tagging support, aggregation options, drill down. I think this looks good. The code looks good. New classes here, using the tag class, excuse me. Drill down here. Modals. These are our new widget paradigms. We'll test this in a moment here. Drill down looks good. Refetch on drill down. Looks good. Body variable rename. Breadcrumbing, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Setting the key. Chart options, updating this, turning some sort of a date item here. Cloud cost, parameterizing that. That's a nice improvement. Well, I mean, I think the code looks good at a cursory inspection. Let's see how it works. We'll go to one of our default dashboards, cloud costs. Yeah, that's nice. That's cool. It sets little chips up here. Back. I wonder if we should make a request for a way to drill up here. Yeah, unfortunately, this is going to be slow. All right, so that's how we navigate up and down, down. I think this is good. I think this is a nice UX. Does anyone have any objections? Great. And just for those of us who haven't seen it, right, this is the new OpenCost 2.0 UI here, being actively developed by our current mentee this term, actually. So that's a nice feature.
Looks good.
Great.
I'm
Uh,
curious, why do you think clicking around on the cloud costs drill down, I'm clicking here too. It's so much more
yeah.
responsive than allocations. Is it because all that cloud costs data is like cached in memory? Or are we
Uh,
not? I guess we're not querying Prometheus, huh?
and there's just less of it, right?
Yeah,
Like this
okay, okay,
cloud
yeah.
costs thing is just a mock cluster that I set up in GCP, and it's like
Yeah,
$10 a month in cloud costs, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so we'll go ahead and merge this. Missing drill down, cloud costs, great. All right. Awesome. That's exciting. What an amazing contribution. So an aside on this, Vishy called this out and the person did wind up removing it. Uh, do we want a Claude.md in here to help like agents get contexts here? Does that excite anybody? Um, we have a Claude.md in the OpenCost. Maybe we'll ask them to contribute it.
Yeah, I'm not opposed.
Right, right. Not very long, Claude MD, but that's fine. Like, maybe that's something for the future. Great. Um, just call if anyone is interested. We need to refresh our intro videos to reflect our new UI and MCP. So if anyone is playing around with this and wants to like record a quick demo here, contributions definitely welcome. No coding needed. Right. So for the website here, we have a new provider added. We won't merge this yet because the code supporting it isn't merged yet. Stack it, but we can maybe we'll try and view this. Install Prometheus, create the OpenCost namespace, cost allocation, retrieves and stack it. And has anyone ever worked with the stack it cloud provider? Customer ID, that's great. Product ID, secret key. Um, it seems a little create the OpenCost name. Hold on, I'll go back to the raw
Yeah,
code.
Alex, sorry,
Yeah,
I did just get that review and I was just writing some comments. But
awesome.
yeah, I mean overall it looks pretty good. I mean, again, it's a provider that's, you know, most of us have never used and if not
Right.
using it. um
All right.
the
And
provider itself looks good. I'm a little concerned about the cloud cost implementation.
maybe
But
we'll look at it specifically then, Sean, in the next section if you want. You can walk us through it, maybe. Would you be
sure,
interested in that?
sure,
Cool.
sure.
All right. Well, then that makes it easy to just, send this back for uh I don't know if these links are working. Stack configuration. Like that's a link. We'll submit, we'll ask for changes here. Um, but that's awesome. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll definitely hold this, Sean, until we get the code merged, obviously. No point in documenting a unimplemented provider. A question about the website. Just use this person's preview here. Should we add the IBM logo here? I just realized it was missing. And considering most of us here are from IBM, is anyone opposed to that? Great.
I'm not opposed. Maybe we talk to Cliff for approvals first too. But
All
yeah.
right. Get approvals. Yeah, I think it's a good call out. Wellness, thanks. Cool. Any other website thoughts? I merged a bunch of debt bumps here. Uh, Nothing tremendously exciting this morning. Great. Move on to OpenCost Core or OpenCost OpenCost. Again, we've also released 1.20.1 of here. Thanks again, Christian. Just an aside, we've had pretty regular updates on the big data model rewrite that we call Cube Model. Um, just wanted to sort of highlight for everyone what Sean and Jay are gravitating towards here. So in general, right, like devices are a big, uh, well, hard thing, right? In that each GPU is very vendor specific. Um, so I think Sean and Jay have decided to go with, vendor-specific device representations inside the cube model. This is, of course, in contrast to a Kubernetes like node object, right? Where the node will be the same for GCP, Azure, or anything else. These will not be the same depending on the vendor, just because there's not really an open GPU like utilization standard and stuff like that. Sean, you are sticking with this approach, right? I appreciate this commit's probably a few old. I linked to it a while ago.
Yeah, no, we're sticking with that approach, and we'll have that larger device abstraction, like we've talked about,
Right,
um, in
right,
probably around this step where pricing is being applied to the kube model.
okay.
Probably slightly before that. I mean, yet to be seen on the OpenCost side of things, but starting to materialize a bit more on the kube cost side of things.
Great. That's a great call out is we're, we'll try and make these devices implement an interface, right? So that, OpenCost has uh, a unified way of pulling out the information that won't be vendor specific because that has limited utility. But it's very hard to collect the information in a vendor neutral way here. So that's going to be the general approach is use an abstraction, use an interface to abstract and you know have a concrete type per vendor. So this is an NVIDIA only, right? For NVIDIA GPUs. Um, Sean, do you have the DRA stuff in here? Is that
Uh, yeah, that's not currently in scope for the kube model
okay?
project.
Okay, cool.
But as mentioned, maybe not here before, but the DRA structures will fit very neatly into the wider kube model and can be extracted via the cluster cache in a pretty straightforward way. So shouldn't be
So
too hard to add that in.
we won't have per vendor issues, basically, right?
Yes, with those DRA objects,
Right.
we'll have plenty of issues kind of wrangling them into a unified view of devices or GPUs, but we won't have any issues recording that data.
Cool. Yeah, that's super exciting. Honestly, the further along this project gets, like, I know I personally like underestimated its impact. So yeah, very excited about that. I'm sure, Sean and Jay would welcome reviews. This is an open, it's a feature cube model branch and there's a PR open for it. So if people want to look into what's happening, it's all happening in the open here. Cool. All right. I think this is okay, cool. So this is the complementary implementation PR to the docs one we just reviewed. Um, Sounds like Sean, you had a chance to take a pass. Um, and we can sort of go through as a group, or do you want to focus on your review first?
It's not a long review. I mean,
All right.
the provider itself, you know how I feel about the provider interface. He's got that PIM API as the pricing source, public list
Right,
pricing. I didn't dive deep into it, um, and I won't. But
right.
it looks like everything's kind of lining up there. Um, the cost integrations, um, a few small things, but just more generally, it looks like this API is supplying billing data. Um, I mean, it doesn't appear to be identified, like we're populating
Hmm.
provider ID with SKU. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, I'm just not really sure that this API is supplying the right kind of data to populate cloud costs. I mean,
Gotcha.
once again, like I've never heard of stack it, so I'm not overly concerned if there's a bit of a
Hold on.
wonky implementation there.
Hopefully, okay, phew. That would have been hard to navigate to their docs. Uh, uh, on this Go SDK. Is this individual using the Go SDK? Probably, right? Uh, the
Looks like
European.
it.
Okay,
Yeah, I think
cool.
the
It's using.
go.mod has it.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Well, maybe then what we'll do is because API providing cross at the wrong level of granularity. All right. Maybe we'll let them respond to you. Charge plus discount. Interesting. Yeah. Um, we'll let them respond to you, Sean.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
keep this on the
all
agenda.
the pricing is just that charge, and they put charge plus discount on list pricing. I mean, they could just put charge plus discount on net pricing, and that's fine. Not all of the implementations of cloud costs provide each of the cost types. Um,
Right.
so that is totally fine. Um, but yeah, I mean, it looks like it's some sort of monthly billing statement per service per SKU, and they're trying to chop that up from my cursory glance at it.
I see. So there would be no way to get a provider ID because a SKU is definitely not a provider ID. Provider
Yeah,
ID. Yeah, they aren't. Oh, okay. So that's your concern. Yeah, I think that's I think that's a great call out. Cool. All right, we'll see what that individual has to say, and maybe we can help guide them through to implementation. Cool. Thanks, Sean, for taking a pass there.
yeah, no problem.
Oh, okay, this one got merged. I didn't update that one. Uh, when is this going? Oh, last week, closing is no longer needed. What was going on here, Thomas?
I was debugging something happening specifically in OpenShift,
Okay.
with network cost scraping. OpenCost, how we scrape it is we look for the specific node IP, then
Mm-hmm.
you'll query against that node IP, then the port, and then model metrics. With
Mm-hmm.
an OpenShift configured cluster, they actually block some of that node-to-node curl request. Uh, so
Interesting. Okay.
I
Right.
my theory was, instead of using cluster networking to go from node to node, why don't you just ask the K8s client to query that pod on your behalf? That was the
Gotcha.
theory. I actually tested this with a custom image, and the theory crumbled. So I didn't have a
Okay.
good theory to begin with. But it turns out that there is another viable workaround for OpenShift if you want to scrape network costs. So we went with that workaround.
Cool. Awesome. Great. Well, thanks for that breakdown. I guess it's yeah, good thing we didn't merge it then. All right, our last one here. Oh, this is a fun one. This is a war contribution. Uh, Supply chain security. So this is a proposal to begin signing our artifacts using this the Salsa keyless signing, basically. So I think what happens here is um, we get the digest of the built container, right? And then what does it do? Sets a bunch of parameters. I don't know how legit this Copilot review is. Prints it, and then it signs it, and then where do we publish it? Um, I think by default it's going to the SIG Store global repository. So I've looked over this. I think it's pretty exciting. And then, he does have good instructions here on how to verify the attestation. Um, Does anyone work with any of this? Does anyone think we should not merge this?
What's the worst case scenario if we do merge it?
I guess a broken action, right? Or something?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because
I
this just
guess.
pushes a signature, is that right?
Yeah, what permissions does this require? Uh, Not a whole lot. This job just runs. Oh, it's a composite action. Um, it it requires an ID token here, basically. Um, which I think is pretty well. Okay, and then here's the sign image, and then we run that, pass in the parameters, workflow path, ID token right, GitHub event push, build and publish release. On a release, we sign the image using this job sign image, which a bunch of stuff, set settings, and then cosign a test, which I think, yeah, and then it outputs that. I think we give it a shot. Unless
Yeah.
any
Mhm.
reservations about it.
It's the
I
very
think,
last step of the workflow anyways, so even
yeah.
if it does fail.
Okay, and it's not blowing up anything. All right. Test, group review, notes, Warwick. All right. And we'll chuck that in the merge queue. Exciting. Cool. Yeah, I think, our next steps here are like Helm chart signing and stuff like that. Um, cool. All right. That was it for PRs here. Does anyone have any specific PRs they wanted to um, merge here? I haven't really proofread these for. Here's a fun one we can look at together as a group. Um, this is a collaborative effort between Red Hat, IBM Research, and OpenCost. It's the idea of AI inference cost tracking here, and a lot of this is just beta stuff. It's related to an issue that was opened a while ago, but it's the idea that uh, you know we begin to get the cost per million tokens can be filtered on by model. And again, this uses LLMD, which is a new project it runs on Kubernetes, and the best way I can describe it is it's an LLM orchestrator. Um, so it runs a bunch of different LLMs that you can, on-prem, like you can see here, they're running Gwen, I guess, in it, and then whatever namespace, so this is um, OpenCost would begin to publish metrics around token costs. And LLM folks, LMD folks are excited about this because then knowing the cost of a bunch of different models, you can begin to make intelligent routing decisions on when someone fires a request off, for an LLM, use something that's maybe underutilized or the lowest cost, or just decide to send it to a third party, hosted LLM. So stay tuned here. This has been a really fun project and it uses a bunch of existing metrics. Again, it's related to this issue that Jay had filed a while ago, um, where we're trying to just in general establish costing metrics for LLMs because I think the way it's turning out is that people love to run their AI on Kubernetes, right? Even like the upstream hosted providers. We obviously don't know 100% for sure, but the sound of it is like Kubernetes is the platform of choice. This is an awesome opportunity for us to sort of establish thought leadership here. And frankly, a lot of these metrics that SEMA proposed in that PR match up with these. So that's a really nice circumstance, if you will. Let me try and get back to that PR meeting. Um, architecturally, right, and looking for input here, right? Uh, we're gravitating towards making LLM costing stuff a first-class citizen, right? Right alongside allocations, assets, cloud costs, all that stuff, uh, because these are not implemented as a plugin, right? These are just implemented. And again, this is a proof of concept, right? Like I would encourage everyone to read over it, not to like this is not going to get merged, but probably if we can get some support here, probably sort of sets the direction here for costing for the on-prem models. We can combine that like an Anthropic, for example, plugin could be written that way. You could get your costs on the hosted AI models versus your on-prem, and then you can really make some interesting business decisions there. Um, and this is exciting because we want to combine this with the ongoing cube model GPU stuff to, you know, extend things like idle down into tokens, right? Like just determine, if one of your models is particularly idle or something like that, you can view your token cost without idle, with idle. It really opens the playbook here. And again, yeah, it's making direct Prometheus queries. We'll probably push them to implement this in the collector and Prometheus interface with everything else for the final implementation. But again, I think this is a proof of concept, and I think they are more focused on keeping their changes scoped into a certain area. So definitely like check that out. That's probably going to be a substantial contribution to OpenCost later on, if we can come to a consensus, that is. Any questions on that? Comments, thoughts, anything? Otherwise, we'll move on to the Helm chart.
Who is that in collaboration with again? You said Red Hat
Uh,
Research or something?
Red Hat and IBM Research. Mhm.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Who is the author of LLMD?
Who was the other? I think it's a Red Hat project.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah. Let's see. LLMD. It just got into. Oops, I'm searching for this, of course. It just got into Sandbox, I think. Yeah, it's a CNCF sandbox project, brand spanking new, right? But it's causing a lot of excitement, um, and it's wherever I don't know if they have a link over to their project here, but it's basically all right, here, yeah, so it's this whole ecosystem, and it's Kubernetes native high performance inference framework. So modular solutions, distributed inference, right? Running models at mega scale. Uh, and it's gotten a lot of excitement around it. So definitely interested in following along here. Yeah, already, with 3,000 followers. So it's, high potential project and could be a good okay, found Red Hat, Google Cloud, IBM Research, yeah, Kobe.
Mm,
So
I see.
this crowd. Um, So, it brings in a lot of interesting ideas like, can we bring a KV cache cost in here and like build these complex like costing models for this, for the on-prem crowd, or folks who want to run, on GPU clusters in the cloud.
Nice. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah, it's exciting. All right. If no other thoughts or PR review requests or anything like that on core, we'll check the Helm chart out. Not a lot of movement here. Um, It's just this one field. Um, So as we all know, and Ingress Nginx is they've stopped maintenance, so it's wonderful that we're getting some help with maintenance here. Um, I white space trimming issue. I think this is legitimate. Um, but overall, I think that the kind group, if kind, I agree with the with Copilot here, right? I think that adding that can sometimes behave in unanticipated ways. Join YAML into, yeah. I think I commented that. Yeah. All right. So I commented that and asked them to bump the patch, but I think that won't be a controversial PR. Helm's schema is in progress. I know Hunter's very busy, so he hasn't had time to work on this, but this would be an amazing thing to have, right? Where is the schema? Probably so large it got truncated there. Again, this is powerful because it defines every value that can possibly be passed in here, and would help people, I think, stay abreast of developments that change YAML keys, right? Because you would get blown up on a schema mismatch. So definitely excited to follow along there. Yeah, and we talked about this earlier briefly. Helm chart signing is sort of next in our line of supply chain security activities. Maybe we'll see how the Salsa stuff cosign works on the images and explore signing that chart. And then I think, we will have a decent number of our supply chain at least secured provenance wise, right? I don't think it will ever be truly secure, right? We're not building an unsinkable ship here. But definitely, if anyone wants to explore that, that's a help wanted item. Um, yeah, any thoughts on the Helm chart? Like concerns? Cool. All right, plugins, no movement here. I do owe Vishy a review on this. Snowflake. With these plugins, I really want to like test them against an actual deployment, right? That I own, and I know Snowflake has like a free tier. So I think the pieces are there. We need to get on it. Yeah, and then an update on our Linux Foundation mentorship. We already looked at the new UI. We're really happy with it. It adds a lot of capabilities here. This is a PR build that Vishy is working on right now. And it brings in stuff like bringing in the concept of settings and all these other things. I think actually um, there's another PR as well that we can look at that it's exciting. It really is good work. Yeah, let's see if this works. It may lock me out, but we're, experimenting with, okay, so that, we won't get any further than this, but we're experimenting with authentication and authorization, right? To be able to build teams and stuff like that on OpenCost and view, add filters onto things so that team can see certain things and not see certain things. We've had a request for that from a lot of community members. Um, I think where we left off here is right now this implementation is very tightly tied to this uh, this provider, right? He's using this Clerk SDK. They're an authent provider. I think right now he's working on changing this to OIDC, so that it's provider independent, and we'll get our list of entitlements from the provider and use that to set roles and scopes and stuff like that. So that's just a brief preview of what we're going on there. We've got about 2 or 3 more weeks there, so we're getting to the finish line here. It's been good work. Yeah, we're very excited for what she's gonna come up with in these last few weeks. That brings us to the end of our agenda here. Um, did anyone have any go backs or things to talk about, questions, concerns for this week? Okay. Great. Well, thanks everybody for coming. Our next meeting in 2 weeks will be at 10 a.m. Eastern. That's for the, APAC regional meeting. So we will meet at this time again in another month. Yeah, so thanks everyone again for coming. And yeah, see you the
Thanks,
next one.
Alex.
See ya.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks. Bye.